heard the term native advertising before, you have probably been subjected to it by now. It's when a piece of ostensibly normal content is stamped with tiny disclaimers like this, and then contains messages that are often clear endorsements. And if you'll excuse me, I'll just take a break from making this point by enjoying the refreshing taste of Mountain Dew Code Red. And then it's at this point that you usually realise, oh, this isn't the thing that I was looking for, you're just advertising the most disgusting drink ever manufactured. Although, I will say it does undeniably taste of red. Native advertising, though, has been so lucrative for new media organisations that they've basically built their entire business model around it.
100% of our revenue comes from branded content. So we have a lot of partners who are marketers and major brands. We work with 76 of the top 100 brands now.
That's the CEO of BuzzFeed, Jonah Peretti, and his face is like BuzzFeed itself. Successful, appealing, and yet somehow you want to punch it. BuzzFeed has created masterpieces of native advertising, such as 10 life-changing ways to make your day more efficient, sponsored by GE, and 9 ways cleaning has become smarter, sponsored by Swiffer, and 11 sea creatures who deserve to die, sponsored by BP. Now, that last one is a joke, but it's not significantly different from the previous 2. Full disclosure, HBO did pay for lists to promote this show around the time that we began, very cleverly realising we'd better promote this show, no one is going to give a shit about it. But the success of this practice has clearly impressed old media such as Time Inc., whose CEO recently created a native advertising team. And he also doesn't see why that might be an issue.
As long as it's clearly marked, as long as the consumer knows the difference between what's editorial and what's native, I don't see any problem with it at all.
Yeah, but it is a problem, though, because the consumer cannot tell the difference. A recent study showed that less than half of visitors to a news site could distinguish native advertising from actual news. And of course they can't, because it's supposed to blend in. You're like a camouflage manufacturer saying only an idiot could not tell the difference between that man and foliage. I mean, look, the camouflage clearly states not foliage on the collar. It's clear. And besides, I'm sure the deer knows the difference between the two things. Deers are so smart. You have to respect deer. And if you are wondering how he reconciles this with the line between church and state, well, funny story.
Quite frankly, I've changed church and state, as you know. We took that away and we said the editors are going to now be working for the business side of the equation. Quite frankly, I think they're happier. They're more excited about it because no longer are we asking ourselves the question, are we violating church and state, whatever that was?
Whatever that was. That's like a surgeon saying, hey, I found this squishy thing in there, all bloody and gross, so I removed it, whatever that was. That was the heart. That was what made the whole thing work. You needed that. And it's not just Time Inc. that's doing this. The Atlantic published some native advertising for the Church of Scientology.
The ad is the kind you've probably seen. It's called sponsored content, and it's formatted to look like an actual article on their website. And the article lavishly praised Scientology's leader, David Miscavige.
OK, now, for The Atlantic, that is ethically compromising, but for Scientology, that is just plain stupid. They clearly should have gone with a magazine with better access to their key demographics, such as Depressed Aspiring Actor Monthly. But even the New York Times is now embracing this. They had a recent feature on their website about women in prison, which looked like a serious piece of journalism, but was actually a paid post promoting season 2 of Orange is the New Black. And here's the thing, as far as native advertising goes, that's about as good as it gets. The reporting is real and the sponsored branding was minimal. But it is still an ad.